Okay, been away for a while. First, we'll take a look at UCLA versus USC. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like. If you enjoyed the channel, please subscribe. All right, let's get into this. So UCLA, USC, this was a good game. I was looking forward to it as USC is probably one of the few teams that can match up with UCLA as their strength is one of their weaknesses. In addition, they probably have the only set of bigs that can really compete with Lauren Betts. In some ways, I've come away from this game more impressed with UCLA versus USC as essentially with 4 minutes left, it was an even game and USC finished it out in the end. But if you were going to tell me before the game that UCLA was going to shoot 15% from three, going 2 of 13, and 35% from the floor, going 20 of 57, I would have been surprised the game was that close, especially if you consider JuJu Watkins got off going for 38 points, 6 of 9 from 3, and overall 12 of 26. If JuJu's efficient, then normally USC is winning. The free throw battle was fairly even at 21 of 25 for USC and UCLA going 18 for 25. Obviously, JuJu got going early that gave USC the lead. UCLA tried to put everybody and their dog on her. So first they started with Hawkes, then they went with Barker for a few possessions, and then ultimately in the second half they sort of settled on London Jones guarding her and getting help. If JuJu took her off the dribble, then they'd make sure a big was sort of trying to get in her face as best they could. But once she started hitting her three-point shot, it just makes her a very hard player to defend, and that was essentially what happened during this game. A large reason that it was close is that JuJu didn't have anybody to go along with her. So Kiki Arieffin went for 13 points, but she was on 4 of 14 shooting, 5 from 5 from the free throw line. Rhea Marshall, 0 points. Talia Van Olhoffen, 7 points on 2 of 5 shooting. And then Kennedy Smith couldn't get it going. She was 1 of 8 for 4 points. And then off the bench, they got good defense from Akinwafu, but she didn't contribute on offense. You don't expect anything from her. And then Howell for 5 off 1 of 4, and then Heckel 1 of 4 for 4 points. And then Samuels only got 2 minutes and 0 points. I think it's interesting. It's clear that Heckel has moved in front of Samuels in terms of the pecking order for backup point guard. For UCLA, it was obviously Betts who went 5 of 13 for 18 points. Kiki Rice, 4 of 10 for 15 points. They were the most impactful. And then Barker off the bench, she got 18 minutes. She went 4 of 5 and for 10 points. Yeah, she had a stronger game. Duglic didn't do much, so she went 1 for 5 for 3, and then they didn't get much from Tamia Gardner, who was 0 for 3 for 1 point on 1 of 2 of free throws. Normally the game plan for UCLA is we're going to brutalize you on the boards, but USC can actually defend that because they have Barker, Akinwafu, who can come in and is a big body and played well in the fourth quarter, in addition to Kiki Arieffin. And then if that's the case, then USC has an advantage in the backcourt because JuJu's height, when they were trying to guard her with London Jones, it just looked like JuJu was really, really comfortable. One area that both of these teams struggle in is with turnovers, and USC did a better job of lessening the turnovers. They only had 9 turnovers versus UCLA that had 20 turnovers. I don't like how Arnisalo is not getting as many minutes. Like, she only got 11 minutes in this game. It seems like Cori Close is losing confidence in her, and I just think UCLA is going to need her, and even if she struggles, you want her in these big games to get used to it versus limiting her to 11. I just think they need a 3-guard trifecta to really solidify them going into the Final Four. So that's one thing I noticed. The other one, in terms of utilizing Lauren Betts, she's so devastating. I don't think they're taking full advantage of her. 2 areas I would say UCLA is not running enough. I think she could be more effective in transition. I think their bigs crashing the boards on fast breaks could be devastating as well. It would allow Betts to set her position early and get in those unstoppable post positions. And they've got so many bigs with Gardner, Barker, and Duglic that they need to take advantage of that. I would say we get the defensive rebound, we're running straight away or trying to push it a lot harder than they do. Looking at how many they get in transition, so it's not terrible, but obviously Ohio State is first in conference with 23 of their percent of shots coming in transition. Next is Southern Cal with 18%, and then UCLA is 4th behind Michigan State at 15%. The other thing I would do if I was UCLA with Lauren Betts, I would try to put her more often on the left block, as I think she's better that way. If you throw her in the ball into the low post and she has the room to roll right into the middle and shoot with her right hand, I think that's more of an effective spot with her, as she often has this habit of rolling left but shooting with her right hand, which she seems comfortable doing it, but it really exposes the ball and doesn't make her as effective. Is when she's on the low left post and she rolls right to the middle, they come and then it opens up the court. She can look for other players cutting to the basket to throw to them, and it looks like more of a natural shot. And the rules would be simple. We throw it to you on the left block. You catch it. If you can go right and have a good shot, great. If they double you from the offside, then kick it to the offside, or a cutter going in like she did with Barker. Or the other option is if the post player is overplaying you for the roll to the right, then you just simply do a drop step. And if you have those two counter moves, just make her devastating. The other thing that they got a few good looks off is when they go into high post, and the high post, she's posting up for it, and then she quickly rolls and they throw it up. She usually grabs those off most players, and it sets her up for an easy layup. Like, they got 2 or 3 of those looks. I would do that, and I would have more Duglic and Gardner in that high post, potentially Barker as well, to punish teams. All right, if you give them space to throw that pass, they'll throw it. If you try to collapse on Betts, Betts can throw back out. Now, finally, with USC, this win was big as it got them back in the race, if you like, a chance to control their destiny. For all money, this is going to come down to the last game that's at UCLA. The winner will take the division. And I think in some ways, this game represents what makes women's college basketball this season so compelling, is all these teams are flawed in their own ways. Even undefeated UCLA, they're a bit undersized in the backcourt, have a tendency to turn over the ball, and if they don't shoot well from 3, then they're vulnerable. The same thing goes for USC. They've been exposed in 2 games, essentially. If you can have somebody that can give JuJu Watkins some trouble, like a Sonia Citron or somebody like that, that can sort of make her work and be inefficient for her points, and they're dependent on young players stepping up, and sometimes those players do, sometimes those players don't, and you're never really sure how much you're going to get from Kiki Arieffin. If I was forced to put money on who would win the Big Ten title right now, I would put my money on UCLA. I think they'll get one back when USC comes into their home court. Their role players will be more comfortable, and more of those three-point shots will fall. Now, the counter argument to this is that UCLA last year did not finish out the season well. It felt like they peaked early on in the season and regressed as the season went along. Is this another case where this is happening and teams will continue to expose them? We're going to collapse on Betts and really test you to shoot outside and really pressure your guards into turnovers. Now, it's all well and good to say that's how you beat UCLA. I think USC has a particular set of skills that allows them to do that better than most, with having Marshall, Akinwafu, and Kiki Arieffin. Not many teams can do that. Now it's over to you. Who do you have winning the Big Ten title outright? All your comments and poison, it's all welcome. Thanks a lot for watching. Have a great night.